All right. Let's see if this works better this time. All right. Sweet. All right. While we're waiting, reminds me. Actually, need to. Say something in the chat if you can hear me. Fix my hat. Something. 308, that's what's up, baby. Jump here. I appreciate you guys. All right. So. All right. How many of you guys are gamers? And if you guys are gamers, what games do you guys play? What do you play, Jean-Pierre? Visit Barca. What's up, Paolo? See, look, I already concede that this is already an issue. So the fact that this stream has been on for like 3 minutes, and we already have like 4 times as many viewers, means that I'm still having an issue with OBS. So, RPGs like Fallout 26, Cyberpunk. I played the first Cyberpunk. I haven't played the expansion. I heard the expansion was pretty good, and I also heard they fixed majority of the bugs um, for Cyberpunk. Sup, Catbird? So I was actually through it. I was actually looking into this. So apparently, OBS and a couple other programs, you can actually multi-stream. You can actually multi-stream from YouTube and Twitch. So instead of just choosing one or the other, apparently I can do both. I can't do like Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, but apparently I can do YouTube and Twitch and Kick. Apparently is the third one. So I figured, you know, I enjoy video games. I haven't played in a while, but I thought it was going to pick back up, especially because like Escape from Tarkov is on 1.0. I figure like one night a week, we do a little streaming, a little gaming. Tejas, I appreciate you. I feel like I don't even have to respond to this shit anymore. Masheri Jukovic, we appreciate you. So, all right. Yeah, so I got to figure out this OBS problem because the fact that uh, I think we were peaking at like every single time we've done this. This is now twice in a row, and every single time I get off of OBS, we get 10 times the views. So I got to get into it, figure out how this is because I want to continue to screen share. I like that ability to be able to show what we're talking about, go over videos, everything like that. Other than you guys just listen to me talk, which I feel like is probably going to get old after a little bit. Yeah. So OBS is a screen sharing program. So it allows me to show my screen and then go live to YouTube. And what actually does it fucking stand for? What does OBS stand for? Any takers? I always think it's funny when you try to figure out acronyms. Like, for example, who here knows what HYROX actually stands for? Does anybody know what that HYROX is short for? I just found this out the other day, and I think it's kind of hilarious and retarded at the same time. Who knows what HYROX stands for? It stands for, OBS stands for Open Broadcaster Software. Yeah, if you guys have not heard, it stands for Hybrid Rockstar. I can't make that shit up. That's what HYROX stands for, Hybrid Rockstar. So, all right, now I gotta close this now. Just so it doesn't try to hijack the stream again. Yeah. So maybe I'll try. I think there's multiple programs, so maybe I'll just try a different one besides OBS next time, and we'll give it a shot. Thank you. So this is actually a cap from Barbell Apparel. So I am actually a sponsored athlete of Barbell Apparel, and if you guys are looking for really like they have nice hats, amazing clothing. Go to Barbell Apparel, and if you actually look up the athletes, you will find the Stoic Viking under the list of athletes, and you'll find me in there. And if you want to get anything, they're doing a sale right now. All pants and jeans, chinos, everything, joggers, all on sale for $99, which is good because they're actually all high quality stuff. But the coolest thing about this company is they have a lifetime guarantee. So if you like rip your jeans, you can actually get them like fixed. And yeah, so and I've been honestly, I've been wearing their jeans for like 10 years. I was actually a member of their Kickstarter. So all right, let's go back up here. Yeah, the it's always funny to hear like sayings in English and then hear them in like other languages, like in German and stuff like that, the things that they come up with sayings for. Can I have a shout out on my YouTube channel? I just started. Burn Preston 87. What's your YouTube channel about, brother? Do you have any connections to commercial gyms? I do not. No, I go to the closest gym where I live next to, and that's about it. I would like to actually find a gym where is probably a little bit more content friendly, because to be honest, I probably want to start work. I like to work out with my shirt on, shirt off, and the gym I currently go to, you can't do that. So I want to eventually be able to do that. Oh, nice. You are you a pilot or you work? What else? What do you do in Emirates Air School? No, but I'm a big fan of Floki the Bolt Builder. So I actually, one of the job opportunities, so I just retired. So one of the job opportunities I have is actually to go to a accelerated pilot, a program for Emirates Air to become a pilot. So I can speak Persian actually. I actually went to language school. I studied it for about 18 months. Well, I appreciate that. Mashek. You're from Iran? Farsi Baladid? Farsi Khondid? Benevisid? Let's see. What was it? Amir? Oh, he's talking the Farsi. Yes. See, I can actually read this. He's right. He says, yes, I can. I do know Farsi. See? That was actually one of the coolest things that I liked was that actually I learned how to read Persian and Farsi scripts. Man, as Virginia. Uh, wait. Dar Ayalati Virginia Sandiki Mikonon. Okay. As Amir, as Kajaz Zandigi Mikunid. Okay. Well, that's fucking awesome. It's awesome to actually meet some actual Persian speakers in here. Okay. Oh, you're in Tehran. That's what's up, baby. Well, unfortunately, based on my previous job, I can't really go there, but I would like to. One of my goals is I would love to visit Iran, and obviously, of course, the main goal would be to go to Tehran. The closest I've ever been is to an area in Los Angeles, which we have nicknamed Tehrangeles, which is probably, I think, it's the biggest Persian community outside of Iran. All right. Amir, have you ever been to the United States? Hmm. Oh, buddy, you live in Bandar Abbas? That's in what? That's in the southwest region, right? If I remember correctly. Oh, it's in the south. Okay. Oh, it's right in the Strait of Hormuz. That's right. Because I remember it's one of the like big port cities. Oh man, we got a whole Persian crew up in here today. Uh, من در مدرسه در ایالت کالیفرنیا فارسی یاد گرفتم 20 سال پیش برای 1 سال و نیم uh, فارسی یاد گرفتم. Word. You know, it's been a while, so I can try. Bardia, I can always try the um, because it's good practice. So actually, one of my best friends, who actually I just did a birthday with, you can't see it on YouTube, but if you go to my Instagram, I just posted some pictures of I shared a best birthday party with one of my best friends who's actually Persian, and not only is he Persian, he lives in he goes to Dubai once a month. He lives in DC, and once a month he spends 3 weeks in DC, 1 week in Dubai because that's where he grew up, and he's got his mom still lives there, his business, and so we actually just made a plan last night for me to go with him to Dubai next time. So I will be accompanying my Persian best friend to Dubai in a month or two. Yeah, I still do. It's funny. I actually have a lot of Persian people. So my salon, my stylist, I know I got hat hair right now, but she's Persian. We speak Farsi together. My buddy, who I just shared a birthday with. So if you actually go to my Instagram, you actually see pictures of me and him. And yeah, so I try to get as much practice as I can. And obviously, I can read. I can read. Yeah, I want to go to Iran one day. Yeah. Bardia. So I learned Persian in the military. So I went to a language school for it in the military. Oh, awesome, Skull. Well, shit, yeah. Yeah, if you guys send me messages on Instagram and then give me suggestions for when we're there. Obviously, my buddy grew up there, so he knows a lot of what to do, but I'd always be willing to get more suggestions. I feel like you can't have too many suggestions. Thoughts on feminism? I think it started out as a good idea, and um, I think there's aspects of it that have evolved into something that maybe not the greatest, but you know, that can be said about a lot of things, to be honest. Brutalist, how you doing, brother? Yeah, Mr. Human, don't worry about the chats. There's a lot of weird people in here. I think, yeah, that's Habibi. That's what I'm talking about, Skull. I appreciate you, Habibi. Heesh Farsi. Nope. come back from this. What is your favorite ice cream flavor? Fucking cookie dough, baby. Chocolate chip cookie dough. Yeah. Man, how quickly this shit deteriorates, I swear to God. Alright. Oh, that's what we're gonna do. We have a bunch of emails to answer. Absolutely, Skull. Just hit me up. Yeah, hit me up on. Send me a message on Instagram. All right. Yeah, I don't think Mary has some strong opinions. Look, guys, if however you can, if you like have a certain feeling about someone's religion or something else, that you can talk about it in a you can have a discussion about why you may or may not like, but we're just simply not just come here and spam like, oh, I don't like this, like without giving a reason. If you're gonna say something, be ready to back it up. Jean-Pierre. You talked about your investigation, but several have come out saying that you suck as pressure the removal of soft interviews, vent drama, blowback. Yeah, it's funny, Jean-Pierre. That's really interesting. First of all, thank you for the $5, brother. So I was never really involved in the vet space, right? I wasn't following anybody, but I can tell you, since I started doing social media and since I got on YouTube, the vet bros, there's so much drama. It's so stupid. So I actually had a follower told me, they're like, hey, there's somebody who has a very similar style to you and got out for the exact same reasons. A guy named on Instagram called 18 Good Guy. I don't know if you guys have ever done him. And I actually reached out to him and I was like, hey, I heard, you and I have a similar mindset. And he responded. He was like, yeah. And basically we had a discussion about how toxic the vet bro community is. It's just really kind of stupid. And then obviously I'm going to eventually make a video about kind of obviously I'm going to keep a lot of information out of it, but basically I want to highlight what happened with this investigation so you guys can see the stupidity that was involved in this whole situation and just how toxic the military can be. So Brutalist, I was actually in just over 2 years. So and it's funny because like as I was out processing and I was dealing with kind of like obviously the investigation was over and I was fine, but they were still pissed off. They were actually even pissed, I think even more pissed off that they couldn't find anything because obviously I had done my due diligence and I didn't talk about anything that wasn't already publicly available information. But when people have it out for you, and the way that the military is, it's kind of like this in-source society, and within the military UCMJ where commanders are judges, juries, and executioners, it's really hard to find justice, and you can be guilty until proven innocent. Like due process it's not what you think is the legal system outside of the military does not quite work inside the military, if that makes sense. Yeah. Yeah, Taos, there's always dudes like this. You know, it's funny because people come on here and they're like, oh, you didn't do what you said you did. It's everything like that. Just like, one, I don't even know why people are even fucking wasting their fucking time. Did you happen to have any crap like that hangover? No, luckily I didn't because obviously they did their investigation. And so it's like right as like my YouTube got like it like blew up. It went from like 600 subscribers to like 4,000 in like a few weeks. And then somebody complained. And so they because somebody complained, they launched an investigation against me. And when they showed me the investigation, I kind of laughed. I was like, and they're like, well, you aren't even taking this seriously? I was like, no, to be honest, I knew this would eventually come. Somebody's going to complain. But I've done my research. I made sure that everything I've talked about is publicly available information, and I stay away from particular sensitive subjects. So when the investigation was concluded, and I pissed off enough people, and they wanted to find something, but they couldn't. So I got out. All the important thing is I got out. I retired. I have my pension. And I have, what's most important, I have an honorable discharge. Troller, do you play any games? Not currently, but I have. Probably something I will get back into. One, I want to try Arc Raiders. Escape from Tarkov, which just released 1.0. And I also like other games like Baldur's Gate 3. I do occasionally play the occasional strategy game like Total Warhammer 3. Seen the new Ryan Matt Bissonnette show? No, Teos, what is that one? What is that about? Should try Door Kickers too. You know what's funny? I actually just saw something about the Door Kickers game just the other day. Um, okay. Is it turn-based? I assume it's turn-based. Oh yeah, I thought when you said Ryan, I assumed I was guessing that you were saying Sean Ryan, but I didn't quite know. Let's look it up. So you said Matt Bissonnette. Which one was he? Ooh. You know what? This would be. I already like the title of this. This one would actually be a good one to watch for screen share. Yeah, we're definitely okay. So later this week, I'm gonna plan this. Teos, I like this. We're gonna try to get OBS working, or if I have to go try to do other third party program, and we're going to watch together the Sean Ryan Matt Bissonnette episode because I already like the subject of this. So, how do you become a Delta Ranger Team 6, bro? Bro, that's super secret, man. Like that's nobody's if I told you how to achieve the infamous Delta Ranger Team 6, bro, title, bro, I'd have to kill you, man. Sorry. It's ungodly secret, brother. There is. Oh, this was what I was going to say. The So when I was out processing, the guy who was out processing me, also for my retirement, he was like the final out, and even he had a very similar story of how like he basically was trying to do the right thing, and then just somebody along the course of his one of his commanders was just like, no, I'm done. I don't like you anymore. And he's like, it basically screwed him and basically made him leave the military early. Well, obviously he retired, but he was planning on, like, I think becoming a command sergeant major, and all these different things. I know of so many stories of so many people just getting screwed over. I've been lucky because I've been able to, like, through my own due diligence, sort of avoid some of the worst of that stuff. But there's been a lot of instances I've seen witnessed where people just get screwed, and it's just that's one of the worst parts of the military is the toxic leadership. And to be honest, it was so bad that was actually the first motivation I ever had for making this channel. Jaden, appreciate the Sunday, girl. Boy, girl, whatever you are. Jaden. So is that a boy's name? Enob, what's up, man? Is it Ehab? Ehab. Ehab Mag... I don't even know how to say that. Some of you guys' usernames are ridiculous. Alright. Let's see here. You know, I kind of want to... I like it says, when he says at the beginning, is a welcome to the show. You guys heard that guy, Goob to You? The one who, like, calls out gym influencers who edit their photos. It's one of my, like, favorite parts of anybody's videos is where he, like, presents the person and he looks up and he goes, welcome to the show. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. We do need to... There's a bunch of people who reached out who needed recruiter information for National Guard SF recruiters. So we need to pull that up. Why have you got Viking in your name? Because I am a large individual with some possible descent from those areas. That, and I just chose to type in Viking into it. So I started, like, this has actually been a thing for like over like 10 years. It was like it was my beginning Instagram handle. I have a property investment company. Oh, no, I'm sorry, a real estate investment company with Viking in it. Yeah. Huge Vikings fans. You know, Minnesota Vikings, you know, the show Vikings. You know, you take your pick. So it's just kind of a moniker that started like over like 10 years ago and it just kind of stuck. Eye Patch McCain, that's a mouthful, brother. Yeah, most call signs are not that long. I try to shorten it to something. When I was in 5th group on one of the ODAs I was on, we did have call signs, and my call sign was Johnny Bravo. I have blonde hair, despite the red beard. Yeah, dude, I always felt bad for Johnny Bravo. Like that dude was fit, you know, he was confident, and just the chicks were just always rejecting him. I just never understood why. Sad state of affairs. Yeah, but you know, what's the funny thing is when you go to Army Aviation is the only service that does not use call signs. You know what? Ram Ranch, if this was 2025, I would understand, but nobody back then worked legs. This was like the 90s, man. Legs for guys wasn't a thing yet. but definitely 2025. Because I'm gonna be honest, I didn't really start hitting. No, I always was. When I was 180 pounds and I decided that I want to get big and I gained like 50 pounds, I did get one piece of advice that I really, really glad that somebody did. It was that as I was getting bigger, somebody told me, make sure you're working your legs are getting stronger. And you think about it like if you're building a bigger chassis, you need a bigger engine. And I have a friend who was working out with me at the same time, but he didn't believe in doing legs. And he had a massive upper body with smaller legs, and the man has serious knee problems to this day. So, and then I actually just played squash with some people the other day, and I always get this compliment because obviously before I got big, I was a soccer player in college. So I actually, because I worked legs as I got bigger, and obviously my legs were just as strong, and I always made sure that I still did sprint work. I actually surprised people with my size, with how fast I am. And when I went to go play squash for the first time with a bunch of friends in DC, and that was like basically everybody gave me the compliment of, you're like you are deceptively fast for your size. So it's actually one of my favorite compliments. Dude, no, I don't think that you could do. I don't think Johnny Bravo would exist today, to be completely honest, because of, you know, the fact that he was like constantly hitting on girls, everything like that. Just in this environment, it's just like I don't know if I've ever fly nowadays. I doubt it. I think it was hilarious, but Vladim 8194, hey brother, appreciate you. Welcome to the live. I guess you're a bloody Scot. You know, it's funny. So here's the thing. So I'm not British, right? My mother's side of the family is Irish, um, with obviously some other European descendancies and stuff. But my last name is England, and I'm Irish. So, that's always kind of funny. Should I start playing soccer if I want to be CIA operator? Well, so, well, honestly, it doesn't help. Like, who doesn't like soccer players? It is the greatest sport. It is the world's greatest sport. So, if that would probably help you to, if you're doing missions in other countries and everybody else loves soccer, you love soccer. So, you already can build some rapport just by being able to play soccer. If you don't, people can already tell that you're, an American who doesn't know how to play soccer. So don't be that guy. So if if you think about it, you could play soccer for, cover reasons at the very least. Jean-Pierre, dropping with a $10, brother. Fuck yeah. Yeah, I'm assuming you guys weren't on the ground. So how did your organization feel about Neptune's spear? How long it took? Who went on to the op? So let me look up something real quick. So there's a lot of really interesting things about Neptune's spear. What I don't know if a lot of people knew is that, and to be honest, I feel like I might have to do a little bit more research into this before I start talking about this. But Neptune's spear was not the first chance that we had at Osama, right? And I've heard varying different accounts on this about that that Obama turned down the first couple, essentially the attempts, and there was a struggle between the tier 1 units and getting the White House to get the final approval. So, and that was going on probably like 6 months before Operation Neptune Spear happened. So there was a lot of stuff going on before that. Popped up out here from out of nowhere. Ram, the Stoic Celtic. It's not bad, man. It's not a bad. Like if I ever have to restart again and someone says you can't use the Stoic Viking anymore, we're going Stoic Celtic, brother. And you can call it right now. If I get famous being the Stoic Celtic, you get 10% of all my profits, my man. Ram Ranch right there. It's a promise, brother. What's up, Dr. Elitis? Soccer or football, dog? Well, soccer in the United States, but football everywhere else in the world, my friend. So, but yes, I played soccer. Well, actually, played soccer in Germany, aka football, because I grew up in Germany because my father was in the military. I lived there until I was like basically 13, then moved to the United States, and then was freshman on the varsity soccer team, went to college on a soccer scholarship, and then I was hit by a drunk driver going the wrong way in my freshman year. And then I enlisted 9 months later. I'm not a dog. I'm begging you. Please say a line from Mortal Kombat. Well, what you gonna give me, man? Like, nothing in life is free. Maverick, how dare you? Sorry, I'm late. Suga, what's up, baby? My Jewish lawyer just documented the 10%. What, the tithe? The tilth? Is that how you say it? Tithe? So we tax 10%. Did you go to the University of Washington? I did not. I actually went to Seattle University. And but my girlfriend went to the University of Washington. She was a Husky. And actually, when I got hit by the drunk driver, we were actually leaving a party, and we were on the south side of Seattle, and we were driving to the north side of Seattle because I was going to her dorm, which was at the University of Washington, and this is about 3:30 in the morning. And then I remember a point in the drive, and then I woke up in a hospital bed, and then they crushed the left side of my body. I had ruptured spleen. I had a brain hemorrhage. I had pieces of a car went through my arm, cut part of my elbow off, went all the way into my back, like all sorts of crazy shit. And mainly the brain hemorrhage was the thing that was the worst. And I got frustrated in my recovery. I think at that point I knew my soccer career was over. And yeah, I enlisted, I think, at MEPS almost 9 months to the day after the car accident. BVG, what's up, brother? It's going well, man. We're doing the thing. We got Jean-Pierre coming in. Jean-Pierre single-handedly is making sure that I don't have to get a job again, man. Like, I retired, but Jean-Pierre he's hooking me up tonight, brother. We get to eat wheel this week. Oh shit, that's what I'm talking about. I'm not a dog. I'm a dog. Say, get over here. How was that? Was that pretty good? It's not bad. I don't think I've done that in a while. Were you in the Coast Guard? Nah, Brian. Bro, I wish I was in the Coast Guard. I wasn't cool enough, man. I tried out for the Coast Guard and I got rejected. But not everybody gets to fulfill their dream. So. Chicken stars. So that's a very good question. So for a while, I struggled with speech. I initially, like short term, I had big time memory problems, especially short term memory problems. I would have conversations with people, and then 5 minutes later, I had no recollection that I even had a conversation with them. And then I would say the biggest one was speech problems. It was very hard for me to carry on a conversation. I massively had to use filler words. So that's one of the things why this whole social media thing has really helped me, because while I have gotten better, but I don't think I ever fully recovered. And plus it's kind of hard to remember what I was even like before the car accident. So when I started this 60-second challenge for better public speaking, it definitely helped me to improve, to look at the camera, to speak, use different levels of cadences, and try as little as possible use the filler words. Like, like for example, one of the ones I use constantly because I know this because I edit my videos constantly is I say right. That's one of my filler words. You know, that's also one of my other stupid filler words. And then is another one. So getting better at it. So it was funny because so in the last month, two things that have happened, which I feel like sort of is an accomplishment for me. In the last month, I had to give two actual live speeches where I had to do it offhand. One was at a Halloween party. So me and my friends went as Greek gods. And we were in this one party we were at that had a costume contest. And we had to every group had to go up and they had to introduce. And so my everybody who I was with, there were like five of us, and we were all different Greek gods. I was Ares, and they were like, "Well, you need to give the speech." And so the first thing that came off the top of my head was if anybody's ever seen A Knight's Tale with Paul Bettany and the cool like speeches he gives, especially the very last one he gives. I emulated that speech in order to introduce my fellow Greek gods a thing. And then at my birthday party last night, I knew that they were going to ask me to give a speech. And I gave a speech, and everybody was like, that speech was perfect. And then there was one of my friends, who's this girl, she came up to me because I'm also her trainer. So I train her in the gym. She's like, you need to not only train me more in the gym, she's like, you need to train me how to do speeches because the last two speeches have done are amazing. And I can't begin to tell you how huge of that compliment. And I even told her, I went over and gave her a hug. I was like, that means so much to me because of how far I've come from that car accident and that brain damage and how I struggled with my speech patterns and everything like that. So it was a long-winded story, but yeah. And I sometimes I think about what my life would have been like because of, I had maybe there have been delusions of grandeur, but I I was hoping that thinking that I might be able to make it that like professionally as a soccer player. I do think that I got distracted in high school when I think when girl I got distracted by girls and I think my work ethic kind of just went down. So, but I think about that nowadays. Just got here, but it's to stroke your ego. Do you know about the Gain Eager Association? What is that? Chicken Stars, what's up, brother? Gaming. Wow, you guys are so stupid. The funny thing is, it's not even a good one. Like, if you're gonna come up with one, like it even sounds like it. It doesn't even sound like it. At least be more inventive. You know, yeah. It's funny because I feel like for a second, for like a little bit, we've got like a good stretch. But man, like I swear to God, Tejas, you have to like you work overtime sometimes with these fucking moderation, like these chats. Like we get like a good streak where it's just kind of like some good people in here, and then you get a couple of just fucking tools. Yeah. Well, to be honest, so one, we're not on OBS right now. And then two, this is a problem every single stream, you know. Luckily, I remember so Tejas, you the one stream that you were not here, well the one side that you were not here, it was fucking horrible. There were so many people and I struggled to fucking moderate the fuck out of these people. Yeah. You know, it's just there's so many fucking trolls out there. It's just kind of ridiculous. But whatever. People are gonna be stupid anyways. All right. Well, it's because they have nothing else better to do. So here's something. If injured, yeah. So here's an interesting thing about since I started this, right? I would say that 95% of all the comments I get on all my videos are like positive comments. It's like people are like, "Hey, I really like what you're saying. I really like what you're doing," right? And especially because you think about it, like my content is not I'm not telling war stories. I'm not shitting on anybody. I'm just trying to like give positive life lessons that I've learned and maybe help people, give people tips through selection, tips through other things, tips through fitness, tips through nutrition, everything that I've learned that I feel like I know a decent amount, put it out. And so there's like nothing that if you think about it that someone could really attack. And of when people do attack, like who come out and like say these angry comments, or like the ones I usually get is like, oh, nobody cares. Oh, you're not actually who you say you are. You have to think about these people who come on here and actually do this, why they're doing that, right? How does some random dude who sees my videos and is like, oh, I'm just going to tell this person he's a piece of shit, right? Doesn't know me. The only reason that somebody is doing that is because they have their own insecurities. And for some reason, my face, which I understand, I do have a very punchable face. I've had to live with this fact. But if anybody comes on and is like, hey, says some really mean comment, you can really just defuse it and just be like, bro, what's the matter? What's wrong with you? Like, I mean, like, you're angry about something. Let's talk about it, right? And that's just basically how I approach it because, the only reason that somebody's acting like that is because of their own insecurities. It has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with them because anybody, especially who I've encountered on this, even other content creators who have like a good head on their shoulders, they're like all about it. Like, hey man, do your right thing, just do the right thing, and are very supportive. And it's the people, the haters, they're just these people who are either not happy with their lives, they have their own insecurities. And you know what? Haters be haters. So it's been interesting, learning how to deal with it. And also, I would say, you can read stuff, then you're not going to let it affect you. Because obviously it's going to a little bit, but you just kind of have to ignore it and it's just what is what it is. It is what it is. PYT5689, appreciate you, brother. Thank you for the sub. So, but I am liking these new IEMs. I feel like I don't know. Does it seem like my voice is lower than it normally is tonight? Bro, you're chopped. Margaret Whipper, you're just playing with me. Are you flirting? You flirting? You flirting, Margaret? Calling me chopped. Look, I know this strategy. I used to do this. It's called negging. All right? Margaret's got a crush on me, I can tell. Auto sear. Now, see, that's a compliment I appreciate. I appreciate you, brother. Go get it. Get a reverse. Get out of the wars. See, now we're just not even making any sense. So how can you flirt now that you no longer make sense? See, this is the problem with modern dating, you know? It's really hard to find somebody who's very witty, intelligent, you know? It's a shame. Suga, I appreciate you. All right. So, good thing is, so these are the plans for this week. Um, I've been dragging my feet on this workout video. I've got everything done. I just literally have to record it. But Callie has been having a lot of complications this week. So I've been having to take Callie to the hospital, and I have to take Callie to the hospital again today, tomorrow, and Tuesday. Um, but now that my birthday is done, and I'm actually not going anywhere for Thanksgiving, I'm actually sticking around here. We are going to devote all our time to finishing that video because I have 3 videos that I want to accomplish because I am going on a podcast in the first week of December, and I want to finish the 3. So I've got 3 videos that I want to do, which is one is the finish the workout video. 2, I want to do a video about the investigation, and then 2, I want to do a video because if anybody knows, so before I became a tier 1 operator, I was actually a linguist. And the reason why I was a linguist is because when I first got in, I tried to enlist as an 18 X-ray. And I couldn't because of my car accident. I have a spleen, and not having a spleen medically disqualified me from going in the 18 X-ray program. So I actually became a linguist because they told me that was the best way to get a waiver because no MAPS doctor is going to give you a waiver. So I actually became a linguist to become which is called a SOD-A, get within a group, the inside an NSF group, and then once I got there, then I tried to get the waiver, right? So I want to make a video, and I'm going to call it From Support to Operator, because I think a lot of people, when they tell me their stories, are like, oh, I didn't make it the first time and stuff like that. Like, so occasionally you have setbacks, right? But I want to detail my story of how because I was medically disqualified, but I found a way around it, right? And I didn't let them stop me. So I want to tell that story of how I went from support to operator, even though I didn't want to be support originally. And that's when I did. And that's I was able to go from support to essentially, being a tier 1 operator. So the 3 videos that I want to get out before I do this interview. Vladim 8194. I'm setting a couple of career, fitness, and life goals of 2026. I mean, he's big brotherly advice for the new year. I'm pushing 30 and want to do different and worth my time. All right, let's hear it, brother. So you're 30. So I just turned 41. So you're a youngin', my friend. It is 11:56 BYT. We are on East Coast time because I live in Northern Virginia near DC. Yeah. What's up, Jezzy666? Hey, what's up from Prague? I got to go to Prague once. I did a trip through Europe, uh, and Prague was one of my stops. I really enjoyed it. That obviously, what is it? Is it Charles Street Bridge? What is that? The one in Prague? Yes, the King Charles IV. That's why it's called the Charles Bridge. That's super cool. And then that castle, what's that castle? What's that big castle like around the hill? That was super cool because I feel like that's one of the most authentic, like well kept castles. The Prague Castle, Castle Prague. Prague's a super cool city. Actually, a super cool nightlife too. Chicken stars, man. I appreciate you. Thank you for chilling with us. She man, how long are you? So stupid. Hi Maya. So if anybody doesn't know, um, if this is Maya, the Maya, Maya actually. Wait a second. Um, Maya is actually like basically my best friend, and she actually threw the birthday party we had last night. Oh, you know what? Sorry, I put my greasy fingers on the lens. There you go. That's better. What is my favorite college football team? What? To be honest, I went to a school that didn't have a college football team, so and to be honest, I never really got into college football. And because I didn't go to a school that didn't have college football, I really don't have um, I don't really have a dog in that hunt or dog in that game. What's the what's that saying? Oh, we're at 5%. All right, hold on a second, guys. I'm gonna have to plug the phone in. Ooh. All right, we're back, and I actually made sure that we plugged in this time. One time, we got low one stream, and I thought I plugged it in, but apparently I didn't put the charger all the way in, so. Sandwater, what's up, man? How you doing, brother? So, okay. All right, so we're going to probably do this for a few minutes longer, and then we're going to call it a night. So I think we successfully, let's actually look at this. Let's look at the stats. Since we're comparing this to because we were doing an experiment, how many views we get with the OBS versus without OBS. Well, we'll have to analyze that thing. I think there's a delay. What are the best boots for SFAS in your opinion? I'm going to be honest. I actually don't know what they allow because over the years they allow in different things for boots for different selections, and that changes because like even when I was in and when I went to sue the different when I went to selection, there was there was different boots that were allowed at that time versus now. Thoughts on video games? So video games are fun and I think they're a cool thing to do, but if you have shit you got to do, it is definitely a distraction. So, you know, that be as it may, like I think that video games, while awesome, should be done in what's the word I'm looking for? Uh, should be done in moderation, if you will. So if you were going on 18 rec side 25 today, would you go for rucking? Are there a ruck trainer Go Ruck, the FNG one. So I think that the Ruck trainers are good, right? Because um, one, you don't want to use an Alice pack because nobody uses Alice packs anymore. Like I think they've been completely phased out of the military. I have not seen an Alice pack anymore, and they do like I think all the Rucks nowadays are like the nice ones, like the much better ones. Alice's are one, they weren't that great anyways, kind of really shitty. You had to tape up your sides because that crappy frame was gonna rub into your sides and fucking bore a hole in your skin. So there's really no reason to train on an Alice pack. So I would use one of these trainers. And I know that the stuff that FNG puts out is really good stuff. Have you ever read the Four Agreements? Suga, what's the Four Agreements? What are we referring to? I'm gonna Google it, see if I get to it first. Unless you've already explained it. Oh, Four Agreements. It's a book. Toltec Wisdom. So the answer to your question is I have not, Suga. David Plott, I served in the Army for 20 years. What is this about? Okay, so the Four Agreements, a practical guide to personal freedom. Four Agreements is a book by Don Miguel Ruiz that presents a code of conduct based on ancient Toltec wisdom to help readers achieve personal freedom. The Four Agreements are: 1, be impeccable with your word. I agree with that. 2, don't take anything personally. Yeah, I think that this is like a lot of Stoic shit in here. 3, don't make assumptions. And 4, always do your best. The book aims to help readers break from self-limiting beliefs that cause suffering. Honestly, all 4 of those things, completely agree with all of them. So Toltec wisdom, it's up there. But, I think, Suga, we're going to add this. Let's go into our Google Keep. And I have a list of books that I still want to read. Let's go to it. Let's see, books. All right, so we got four agreements. Not read this one yet. All right. Yeah. If you guys haven't read The Let Them Theory by Mel Robbins, honestly, she's probably, I think in modern day society, probably one of the closest things to a Stoic book that you can find. And it's like a lot of stuff you can like use to in a certain percentage of your life, but the let them theory, you can like use it in like 95% of your life. It was actually really impressive. If you haven't read it yet, I would recommend anybody reading the let them theory. Christopher Eichert, do you know Motionless in White? Is that a book? Oh, it's a band from Scranton, Pennsylvania. It gets recommended a lot. Tries to give it a listen a long time ago and it just didn't speak to me. It seems a lot of people in Stoic philosophy really like it, so I was curious on your take. Yeah, I can actually see just by the 4 tenets that comes up, or the 4 rules or the 4 agreements, if you will. They're very similar to like a lot of the stuff that they speak in Stoicism, which makes sense why a lot of Stoics would like it. I would have to read it. Did you try it on audio? That's true. Apparently, you are the 2. I don't know. I'll give it a try. Maybe I'll be the 3rd one. You did try it on audiobook. Yeah, so that's always interesting because I feel like certain audiobooks can be enhanced by the person that they choose to record. Some of them can be worse. I've definitely gotten into some books where I'm like, I think I like the material, but I could not stand whoever they picked to do the actual audiobook. Yeah, I'll definitely give it a shot. I'd like to. I've got a. So it's on my list now. So I'm actually in the process of. So I like to rotate between like like a sci-fi or fantasy book, and then something that's like more historic or more like self-help or something like that. So right now I'm reading through the Red Rising series. I'm on book 4 of the Red Rising series right now, which I believe is Iron Gold. What do you think about the raw carnivore diet? Scrim Padaking. So there's a lot of things that are good about the carnivore diet, but you actually do need carbs, right? Um, it is like your number one energy system, and depending on what you're doing, it could work for you. The carnivore diet, I'm saying it cannot not work. Is it the most optimum diet out there? No. But depending on what you're doing, like if you do any sort of endurance thing, uh, sport, it's probably not going to work that great for you because you are cutting out the number one body's fuel source. And, I remember this whole craze about everybody hates on carbs, right? I was a part of it. I did carb backloading. I did all these things. I even tried keto. But then when the most recent, most up-to-date science support, it actually has little to do with that. It has to do with calories in, calories out, having protein, and then from there, then you can then concentrate on your your macros and your micronutrients. But it's really just majority of it's just calories in, calories out, and protein. It's not that hard. So wait, Scram, now that I just read this, you said that there is a new carnivore diet. What is the difference between the new carnivore diet and the old one? Kazuki, what's up, man? Welcome. You know what? I will, as soon as I finish, you know what? I probably need a break from Red Rising after this fourth book. So what I'll do is I'll read it after I finish this one, and we can talk about it later. Extreme Ownership Jocko. Yeah, I actually really like that one. That one's a really good. I'm a big fan of Jocko. I just like the way that he talks and the way like his just no bullshit approach. Like he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He just calls it how it is, and I'm a big fan of Jocko. Vladim 8194. Let's go back up to this. You are the one who asked that question, correct? No, I think I skipped it. No, that was not you asking that question. Wanted to Vladim. I wanted to pursue a career in law enforcement, improve my physical fitness, learn 2 new languages, and learning boxing, Muay Thai, and judo for self-defense. Was this is this your New Year's resolution, or is this just in general? Because all these are good goals. You just eat raw meat. Yeah, it comes back to it. Like you actually need carbs, and I think that the focus on just cutting carbs out, like the thing is, you can overeat good food, right? Because at the end of the day, it's calories in, it's calories out. Like fix that first, and then worry about whether you're getting enough carbs or too much carbs after that, right? Like if you know your calories, that's all that matters, and then obviously protein before that. But yeah, it's a good one. Yeah, there's a reason why it depends on what you're doing. Like if you are someone who's not in endurance type stuff, like if you're not doing triathlons and you're not a hybrid rock star, um, where you don't really need your main fuel source, which is carbs, it can definitely work. They are my 2026 goals. Well, these are some fucking good goals, Enrique or Vladim. Sorry. Yeah, because like one every single day, if you are not trying to improve yourself physically and mentally, like go to the gym, read a book, right? If you do those two things every single day, your life will get better. You honestly, you cannot go wrong with those two things. I'm new and skinny fat. Should I bulk first or cut? This is actually a very common question, the second one A. Don't worry about bulking or cutting. Definitely don't cut. Just go to the gym, work out, and you like just let your muscles grow. That's all you need to worry about. Just go to the gym 3 days a week, you know, all you need is 3 hours in the gym, do 3 workouts a week, and then if you do that, you will build muscle and you will lose weight. You'll get to do both at the same time. Don't worry, especially don't worry about cutting, because that actually makes your skinny fat problem worse. Absolutely, Jean Pierre. Yeah, yeah. At the beginning, oh my goodness, that's like the best time to work out because you get the most amount of gains you get at the beginning. It's funny, we were literally just in the gym the other day, just talking about this with another veteran in the gym, and I was with one of the girls I'm training, and she's been training now for 12 weeks. And she was talking to this other veteran in the gym about how she was expecting more results, and she's like, oh, that's what everybody thinks, but you get in there, you start seeing the results, and then you get addicted to it, right? Because you see what your work has gotten you. Yeah, definitely newbie gains. I remember my newbie gains; they were amazing. You went up, you got, went up so strength so quickly. Oh, it was awesome. Now I feel like I struggle just to, what is it? Just to gain an inch, just to go up 5 pounds. Like I just hit on my workout Wednesday stream, I hit 295. So I'm happy because this week I'm doing 300. And it's the first time in a while that I've hit 300 pounds on squat for 3 sets of sets. And obviously, if you guys haven't seen me, I go all the way down. Ass to calves, baby. So which number is this? Okay. So let's look. Yeah, that's so interesting. These metrics are interesting. How much protein fat would you recommend? Okay. The second one, how much do you weigh? How much do you weigh? And then what is your what target weight do you want to be at? Do you want to like yeah, let's just answer that question and that will help you. Like what is your current weight and what weight do you want to get to? Do you want to get bigger or do you want to get do you want to lose weight or are you in that space where you just need to just build muscle and you actually may not actually even need to care about your weight? Because it only matters if like you're like a really big guy and you actually need to lose a lot of weight. Like if you're like say 300 pounds and you need to get down to 200, you don't want 300 grams of protein, you want 200. But if you're like a guy who's 150 pounds and you want to get up to 175, you want to get 175 grams of protein. Suga, I'm trying to. So I think that was kind of like the plan, which was to do it every Wednesday, but not every Wednesday. So yes, my goal is to do it at least every Wednesday, and I'd like to do it more than that. And I'd eventually like to get to a gym where I can. It's a more of a streamer. Uh, what's the word I'm looking for? A place where they're like used to people filming content and mainly be able to because a lot of the things that look a lot of the content that I want to do especially for Barbell Apparel because if you look at Barbell Apparel's site and a lot of the people that are on it they have these really amazing videos and a lot of them are doing workouts with like the shirts off and stuff like that and that helps to obviously show that a couple different things, but I'd like to be in more of a content-friendly gym, uh, and then be able to film in those places. Yeah, streamer friendly. There you go. See? So I'm 300 pounds and looking to drop about 100. Yes. So Ghost of LDN, you want to get 200 pounds or 200 grams of protein. I need to build muscle and I'm 181. So right now, just shoot for 180. Just shoot for 180 grams of protein a day. Are you familiar with 75 hard? Yes. I was just actually looking at this the other day. Let me look it up. So 75 hard. It's a book that outlines this program. Oh, there's a 75 soft. That's interesting. So what is it? It's like 75. So I go 75 days. Follow a diet. 0 cheat meals for 75 days. Work out twice a day for at least 45 minutes. One has to be outside. Drink a gallon. Read 10 pages of nonfiction. Entrepreneur book. Take progress peaks every single day. To be honest, I don't hate it. Because a lot of this is, and you'll hear a lot of people talk about this, right? I do think there needs to be a rest day in here. But that's, you know, that's about it. But for working out twice a day, where one has to be outside, you can literally go to the gym and then your second one, you just go walk for 45 minutes. And as a matter of fact, there's a lot of studies like that show that the best time, especially after dinner, is go out for a walk. And if you can do that, yeah, to be honest, I agree with this. This would be good. Um, hmm. I wonder if this would be fun for me to do this, and anybody else who would want to do this with me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is a semi-dumb question, but do you think 75 hard would be a good challenge for someone who want to go to SF? Um, yeah, I you don't see why it wouldn't. Like there's no downside to this. Because you work out. I do say my caveat would be you do need at least one. You would need a rest day in here because you don't want to overdo it. So I personally, I'm a big fan of 3 days on, 1 day off, or you could do 2 days off, 1 day off, or 2 days on, 1 day off. But like this is just a good recipe for life, right? So I try to do this. Obviously, I don't do 75 days straight, but I try to do that like 7 days out of the week. I try to do this 6 days. So I don't think that this is a bad idea. Obviously, if you're running to prepare for selection, one of the workouts a week needs to be a ruck, and one probably should be a long run. Other than that, I think this is good. Like this is just a good way to like go about your like life. And I think it's good if you've never done this type of stuff to do the 75 days straight. That way you kind of get it ingrained into your personality and everything like that and your habits and your discipline. And then from there, then you can go to like doing it 5 days a week or 6 days a week and then having like the one day where you can live however you want to live. Yeah, absolutely. So that's a big part, Ghost LDN. Um, you want to start with something that works, like whatever you can do, right? Because if you never been to the gym and you're like, I'm gonna do 6 days a week, and then you go in there and you can't do 6 weeks, you're gonna discourage yourself. My advice to anybody and any of my clients, I say do 3 days a week. Just 3 days a week. It's 3 hours. Start from there. And if you can accomplish that and you can do that for like 30, 60, 90 days, you'll be good. You'll be in that, you'll have in that mentality, you'll have that discipline, and you probably officially become a gym person. And then you're just gonna see the results, you're gonna fall in love with it, and it's gonna be awesome. And then you can go into more advanced stuff like what I do, which is um, I work out. I do 3 days on, 1 day off, 3 days on. So I hit every body part twice a week now. On top of, I also swim. I'm not training for any rucking right now, so I don't do any of that. I do one run once a week, and Stairmaster, and I do a lot of walking after meals. Any Jean Pierre, any split workouts and cardio and PM weights? Yeah, so if you want to do for full optimization, the best way to do it is to separate your cardio from, this is based on the most recent studies in science, is that you can do your cardio. So the one thing they always tell you, don't do your cardio before your strength workouts. That's like, I think that's a given, right? But it's when is the most optimized for doing your cardio where you don't affect your muscle synthesis. And so if you do the cardio technically right afterwards, you're still going to like build muscle, right? But it isn't going to be as optimized as if you waited like a few hours before you did your cardio. So the best way, if you can work out in the morning and then in the afternoon after dinner, then go for your cardio or do your cardio then, or you do your long walk, whatever. That's my understanding of what's the most recent, most up-to-date research and science. That is the most optimized time to do it. So that would be my recommendation. I've had a few negative experiences though. People tell me to stop eating or saying some you kind of things, but I try to keep my momentum. Yeah, dude, screw them. And honestly, if everybody ever tells you to stop eating, they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, right? Because that doesn't work. It's the basic thing is you need to understand what your basic basal metabolic rate is, like how much your body particularly burns at its current state. Because mind you, caveat, when you lose weight, right? If you're at 300 pounds, right? What you burn at 300 pounds, you're going to burn less at 250. So so people who actually are very over heavy actually have a pretty high BMR. But then as you get lower, you then have to adjust it because it moves with you. It's sort of like a sliding scale. But just find out what your BMR is. You can use the calculators as a starting point. Use that to start with, and then see if you're starting to lose weight. If you're not losing weight, then it needs to come down a bit more. And they get to the point where you start losing weight. But then as you start losing weight, it does need to progressively come down with it, right? And that's all you need to do. You definitely don't need to stop eating because that's not healthy. Your body burns more calories just sitting there operating than you do at the gym. Like the gym only helps you with a couple of hundred calories, but majority of like 10 times more of the calories are burnt are just built by you existing, by you breathing, by your system working. Faith, what time is it here? It's 12:26 in the morning. We need to go to bed soon. It's okay. Is there a way to bring him back? I've been dealing with a lot of chronic knee injuries in my shoulders and knees. How likely to be successful am I to be to get to selection for SF? Well, it depends. Can you ruck? Can you carry weight? If it becomes a big problem, look, at the end of the day, unless it's going to cause permanent injury, my suggestion is just to give it a shot. Go to selection. That's always going to be my default, is just give it a shot. You never know. Yeah, I kind of like it. I kind of like the idea of all doing it together, and then we can all kind of like do like check-ins and stuff like that. and do like a little daily thing. I think it's a good idea. Maybe that's something we plan for New Year's, after New Year's. That way, nobody has an excuse for timing, like Christmas and Thanksgiving and all that stuff. You know what? The more I think about this, the more I like this idea. So, obviously we give it a couple days. So, 75 days. I wonder what that would come down to. Yeah. So I think probably we can do a tentative date of starting like January 5th. So that should be enough people to come back from like vacation or whatever. And we can all start it. I think that'd be fun. I don't know how exactly that would work. We'd figure it out as a group. Like you come up with like systems of like how to check in. Everybody can start posting on the community tab. Um, Especially their progress pics. I think that's gonna be a big one. Everybody putting up their progress pics every single day and counting the days that they've done it. I like this idea. Through Patreon. Okay. You know, it's funny. I actually need to get one of those. Now that you remind me, Suga. Of course, my man. You can definitely sub and like, brother. Because the other thing, because a lot of people have been asking me for specifically like selection workouts and selection coaching. So I am going to put up, I am going to create a link for specific coaching because like I've already gotten a couple clients and I need to put up the actual link so people, if they want to sign up for actual like online coaching for either whether it's the gym or just like selection mentoring and stuff like that, that will be up. So that's the other thing I'm going to get up this week is that particular coaching link website thing. We're working on it. All right. Bombaclat. I love that word actually. It's Jamaican if I remember correctly. What is... So I'm doing some research right now. Absolutely, Ghost LDN. Like you, anytime you want, man. And if you need any more advice, feel free to send me a message on IG. And like I said, we're gonna be putting up a thing. I'll be putting up a link for coaching if anybody wants it. Tejas, so how are you? Were you able to bring him back, or did just the time out? Okay. All right. We'll definitely have to get into using Patreon. So that's what I'm doing right now. Okay. Well, that's good. Well, Ghost LDN, I'm glad that you were able to get back in here. All right, guys. I think we're gonna call it. So I got a lot of research to do this week. So goal is Patreon, get this whole thing up, the coaching website, get out these 3 videos. So we got a lot to do, and plus Callie's 2 appointments. So anyways, I appreciate everybody. Special thanks to Tejas and Suga for being the awesome moderators that they are. Yeah, I agree. No, that's a good point, Suga. I think that's a really good point. All right, well, I appreciate everybody. You guys have a good night.